All right, let's talk about generative AI. We all know it's changing, well, pretty much everything. But here's the real question. How do you go from just playing around with the cool new toy to building a program that actually transforms your entire organization? That's what we're going to do today. We're going to break down a real strategic roadmap for success. So first things first, let's just talk about the stakes here. I mean, why does this even matter? Well, according to one major study, we're looking at generative AI adding, get this, more than $7 trillion to the global economy. And that's not just some big, flashy number. No, that's a fundamental seismic shift in how value gets created across the board. But here's the thing. Getting a piece of that $7 trillion pie, it doesn't just happen by accident. It's not magic. It takes a real, deliberate, well-thought-out plan. It is all about having the right strategy. So, what does that strategy actually look like? Well, the source material for this whole explainer boils it down to a really simple but powerful framework. And it's all built on just 3 core pillars.
The very first pillar, the absolute foundation of everything, is your people. Not the tech, not the data. It's the innovative, creative, and technical folks who are going to drive this whole thing forward. Everything, and I mean everything, starts right here.
Okay, so once you've got your team in place, pillar number 2 is all about having a curated list of opportunities. And this is key. We're not talking about chasing every shiny new idea that comes along. No way. This is about zeroing in on specific, high-impact business problems where AI can make a real, measurable difference. And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, sponsorship. You've got to have that high-level executive support. They're the ones who provide the resources, clear the roadblocks out of your way, and really give the whole program the authority it needs to succeed. So let's recap real quick. People, opportunities, and sponsorship. That's the framework. Simple, right? Now let's dive a little deeper into that first pillar, the who. Look, building the right team is absolutely crucial because your success really depends on how all these different roles work together. So who do you need on your generative AI A-team? It really does start at the top with a senior management sponsor. And this person isn't just a figurehead, okay? They're the executive champion who lines up the AI work with the company's biggest goals and makes sure the team has what it needs to win. They're basically protecting the mission.
Then, of course, you need the technical heart of the team, your data scientists and machine learning engineers. These are the brilliant folks who build, train, and fine-tune the actual AI models. You can think of them as the architects of the intelligence itself.
But those amazing models need a powerful place to live and grow, right? That's where your cloud engineer comes in. They're the ones who build and maintain all the technical infrastructure, making sure it's powerful, secure, and ready to scale up as you get bigger and bigger. They build the factory where the architects do their work. You know, a genius AI model is pretty useless if nobody can actually use it. And that's why the software developer is so important. They're the critical link who weaves the AI into the apps and tools your employees are already using every day, making the whole thing feel seamless and intuitive. Now this next role, it's the essential bridge between the tech world and the business world. Your business analyst and domain expert makes sure the AI solutions are actually solving real-world problems. They're like translators, making sure all that brilliant tech work has a genuine, real-world impact. And to keep all of these moving parts humming along together, you absolutely need a great project manager. They're the conductor of the whole orchestra, making sure all these different experts are in sync, hitting their deadlines, and staying on budget. And of course, you've got to make sure this stuff actually works, and works reliably. The quality assurance engineer is the one who rigorously tests the AI, hunting down bugs and weird inconsistencies to make sure the output is trustworthy and meets your company's high standards. And finally, and I really can't overstate how important this is, you need your cybersecurity and data security experts. These folks protect your most valuable asset, your data. They build the entire foundation of trust for the program, making sure you can innovate responsibly and safely. Okay, so you've built your dream team where every single person has a critical role to play. That brings us right to pillar number 2, the what. Where do you point all this talent? This is all about finding the right opportunities, and the key, really, is to be systematic about it. The big idea here is to capture the same data for every potential project. By evaluating each idea against the same checklist, things like business impact, cost, complexity, and even the stuff that's harder to measure, like employee morale, you create a standardized system. This lets you compare apples to apples, you know? It makes it super clear which opportunities are really going to deliver the most bang for your buck. So you've got the team, you've picked a high-impact project, and you build something totally amazing. You're done, right? Well, not quite. The last and maybe most critical step is proving its value. And this is the question that can make or break an entire AI program. Seriously, how do you get past just cool stories and actually measure success? How do you prove to your sponsors that their investment is really paying off? The answer is all about tracking the right key performance indicators, or KPIs. It really comes down to measuring four main things. 1, are people actually using the tool? That's engagement. 2, is it helping them do their jobs better? That's effectiveness. 3, what do they think about it? That's feedback. And 4, are more people starting to use it over time? That's your adoption rate. These KPIs all come together to form a really powerful practical tool, the Generative AI Scorecard. It's a simple grid that lets you track these 4 key metrics across different departments. It gives you a super clear, data-driven picture of what's working, where adoption is taking off, and maybe where you need to focus a little more attention. You know, when you put all these pieces together, the right people, focused on the right opportunities, with strong sponsorship and a clear way to measure success, you start to realize something pretty profound. Generative AI stops being just another technology tool. It becomes a core part of your entire company's strategy.
So, as we wrap this up, the final question is really for you. The roadmap is clear, the potential is absolutely massive, and you can bet your competitors are already building their AI future. The only question left is, what's your next move?